I've decided to make today's video about a sneaky and deadly killer so that you are prepared if you notice some symptoms, some signs of this killer, so that you know that you need to react, whether it affects your own teenager, so your kid, or perhaps your student, your brother or sister, or if you are the teenager yourself. Be on the lookout and be ready, be prepared to recognize this killer, all right? So listen up, because there are a couple of signs that I need you to remember for your whole life. The very first sign I noticed in teenagers I worked with was physical malaise, pain ailments, or paying too much attention to some normal bodily functions that they started perceiving as something more problematic, more painful than it should be. For instance, let it be an example of a mild pain you can get after a very rough training. Something that it would never make a teenager like this complain in the past, but now they started realizing this pain as if more, and it became more visible, more palpable. And they started complaining about these pains. They worried that they meant something very bad for them, that they were at some risk, some actual risk of losing their health or life. Or such benign symptoms like stomach rumbling after eating something or after drinking some soda. They started recognizing some danger in that. All right, so it was as if they were looking too much into some normal bodily functions of their own bodies, and it worried them. The next symptom was impaired activity and lack of energy, as if they were not able to find it in them, not even to mention such activities like training or going to school, waking up in the morning, but also such little things like, for instance, brushing their teeth or taking a shower or putting some clothes on. It was literally as if they were lacking the physical energy in them to perform these simple activities. Circadian rhythms disorders, it was the next symptom that I noticed. In other words, they were more active at night than during the day. In daytime, they were not able to concentrate, to do something like do their studies, go to university and have some classes. But at night, they had all this energy needed. Granted, later on in the morning, they were not able to wake up at a regular time, which is pretty understandable. Also, they could have problems falling asleep. They didn't get enough sleep during the day, or quite the opposite. They had much too long time to sleep, and they didn't find it sufficient enough to relax and to feel energetic after they woke up. Another thing was related to their appetite. Either they were not able to eat anything, or they ate very little, or quite the opposite. They felt all the time peckish, as if they wanted to snack on something literally every hour. Another symptom that teenagers' families reported was dysphoria. In other words, irritability. Everything made them angry, as if out of nowhere they started getting stressed out and shouting about something really unimportant in general, something that would never have made them angry in the past, but now they felt they couldn't handle it emotionally. Everything made them angry, literally everything and everyone, no matter if they were talking about some mundane things like doing housework or doing their homework for school, or even something more pleasant like going together for ice cream. It would even make them angry as well. The next one that teenagers' families reported was mood swings, and it was really like a roller coaster ride. It was an emotional roller coaster for the teenagers and for the families. So 1 minute they were cheerful and laughing and happy, and you could really honestly see this happiness in their face. But for some time, and then, as if out of nowhere, their mood would change completely. I mean, 180 degrees changed totally into being angry, being verbally aggressive, or being sad, being really unable to take any action. So this could be really worrying for the families as well as for the teenagers themselves. Another group of symptoms I would call behavioral symptoms. In other words, things related to the way they behaved. So these teenagers, they didn't want to spend their time with their mates, with their friends anymore, not to mention even their families. They preferred to sit alone in their rooms, in silence, or doing nothing, or looking at a wall, or listening to really, really loud music for many hours. Another example could also be the use of alcohol or the use of psychoactive substances like taking drugs, for example. They would also be able to cut their body, cut themselves, self-harming. And the most extreme example I can think of is the attempt to commit suicide. Do you know already what the name of the sneaky killer is? If you think it's depression, then you are absolutely right. So if anyone in your family, if anyone amongst your friends or your neighbor's kids or your students or yourself, if you are a teenager, if you feel that there is even a slightest chance that this is something you are struggling with, please search no further on YouTube for any sort of help. Instead of go directly to your healthcare provider so that they can react to it as quickly as possible. If you have these symptoms, my suggestion is to do that immediately, to seek professional help. This way, you can almost immediately make your life better, make your life easier, more pleasant, but most importantly, safe. I hope to speak to you next time.